Hello, everyone. Welcome to UniVoyage. Today, we have a really special guest with us. He is the IPMAT 2020 topper, All India Rank 1, Mr. Aditya Maheshwari, who has also cleared the JEE examination and is currently studying at University of Amherst in Massachusetts. He completed his 12th grade from DPS Bangalore, and we'll have Aditya brief about himself, and then we'll dive right into the questions. Yeah, Aditya.
Okay. So, hello everybody. I'm Aditya Maheshwari. I'm a computer science. I'm doing majors in computer science, and I'm currently studying at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. I also gave multiple exams in India, entrances like the JEE Main and JEE Advanced. I also gave IPM and many more other exams. And I was I was quite fortunate to actually get the first rank in the IPM program. So that's a little bit about me.
All right, that's wonderful, Aditya. And these three exams that you mentioned, be it your JE examination, be it IPMAT exam, or be it your boards. So managing all these three was definitely a really challenging and a taxing task. So could you like elaborate on how did you manage all three of them simultaneously?
So I think so. Whenever anybody studies from 11th and 12th, they do go through a very rigorous curriculum, at least CBSE and or ICSE students. And uh, I guess these all three exams are quite related in some way that you prepare in a very specific manner. In a general sense, you do study for many of the things which are very common to each. So, I mean, it's not easy to handle all of them, but at the same time it's not a very difficult task to handle all three of these exams. So I guess the most important thing is being perseverant and trying to plan your way out. So you plan for your board exams, you plan for your JEE, you plan for IPMAT. All of these have some specific amount of time you need to allocate. But I guess again, I do want to reinforce the fact that it's not a really difficult task. You just need to plan it out, take a lot of suggestions from people who have gone through this experience, be it boards, be it JEE, be it IPMAT. And I think so there's so many people who would willingly help you to find a suitable path for you to uh, tackle all these exams.
That's absolutely wonderful, Aditya. And managing all these three along with the IPMAT preparation specific. What were your like sort of subjects that you focused on during your IPMAT preparation as well? And could you like elaborate more on the time management which you mentioned in your earlier question?
Definitely. So IPMAT is a very interesting paper, and I suggest many people to at least give it a shot. It's because there's obviously something to learn for it, and if you actually make it through, you're going to be joining one of the premier institutes of India. So a bit about IPMAT. I guess I don't I'll try to cover it at a higher level. That it's an exam which includes two sections, math and English, or verbal ability and mathematical ability. So to study mathematical ability, I think so if any student who does maths during 11th, 12th shouldn't stress much because everything would be most likely from 10th or 11th at max. So as far as syllabus, you guys are mostly covered, and the only thing you need to do is practice probably and try to keep a track of how many questions can you cover in a specific amount of time. Moving more towards the verbal ability, uh, this does not come in the first day. I think so. What people really feel is they give some mock test and they realize that either they're very good at it, which is quite good, but if you're not good at it, it's not going to change over a day. It's a slow process. You have to spend at least a month or two to build up a decent vocabulary, decent grammar, and decent comprehending skill. Because I think so. What IPMAT the verbal test actually tests you is on how good you can do critical analysis on a small piece of text or even a paragraph. It shouldn't matter. So it's how you speed through or how you skim through the paragraph and actually try to answer the MCQs. So that's a bit about the both sections of math, which I feel is not a, again, it's not a very difficult task, but you really need to prepare well in advance. Give some, depending on how you, but depending on your speed, you need to give a decent amount of time, probably 1 month or 2 months. Try to work on your try to work on your comprehension skills or grammars for the English, and try to just practice for math, because again, I think so as Indian students, we are fairly good or quite good at math. All we need is a little practice to uh, work around the time, work around the paper efficiently. Moving on to time management, I think so I can go on more on how to approach a paper, or how to approach any paper or IPMAT specifically, is time management. And how you and time management, now it's a very broad term, but how I'd break it down is, you look at the question, you know the number of questions, and you know the amount of time you have for it. Decide how much you want to give for the questions, and decide how much time do you want to give for revising. Now, once you start writing your paper, do allocate some time for uh, do actually skip questions. Decide whether this will take, if it's taking more than the required time for one question, skip it. There's no harm in skipping anything. You skip the question, complete as much you can, because it depends. It's important, it's vital that you complete as much you can, and then come back to it for that extra time you keep, or the surplus time you keep towards the end, to go revisit them, give it a guess, or give it a or leaving it. It's an executive decision which somebody has to make during the paper, right then and there.
All right, that's definitely going to help a lot of aspirants watching this. And one more thing, that you've cleared a lot of entrance examinations and you were selected in tons of colleges as well. And so picking the cream of the layer must be really difficult for you. So what aspects did you really keep in mind while selecting your particular college? And what should an ideal, aspirant look for in a dream college as such?
All right, so uh, I gave a shot at many things. I worked hard for many of them, and I got into a decent IIT, which was a good rank in JEE Advanced. I got some really good colleges in US, and I got IPM as well. And in general, many of our students work hard and get some really good results. So again, I'm not an ideal person. There are many people, far many people better than me, and therefore, so all I can suggest is, you decide what program suits you the best. And the only way you know how a program suits you the best is, you go through the curriculum at a higher level, and then talk with people of that college. You talk with IPMAT students, or sorry, IPM students. You talk with students at IIT. You talk with students at any engineering or commerce college, or even in the US. It doesn't matter. You need to talk with people, because that's the only way you get a realistic experience, or realistic second-hand experience of somebody telling you how you would fit, how they fit in there, and you can imagine how you would fit there. So it's important to know whether you that's if that's your college that's your best fit for. At the same time, I guess it depends on your aspirations. Do you think, if you want to aspire something towards the management direction, you should always consider IIM. If you want to go something towards the engineering, there's so many good colleges in India as well as US. So it's depending both as well on your stream, as well as what you think is the best for you, or best fit for you. And it's always good to talk with as many people you can. There's so many good resources.
That's wonderful. I'm sure the aspirants are gaining a lot from these answers. And one more thing, that you've cleared a lot of entrance examinations, as well as you've been through a lot of tough admission processes for different colleges as well. And I'm sure interview forms a really integral part of anywhere that you want to go. So, what was your ideal preparation strategy for an interview?
All right. So many of the colleges, I like many colleges do have an interview round. Again, not for the IITs. That's just one length of four years of just misery, and then you get into a college. But for IPM specific, and I know a few colleges in India and US which require an interview. So again, I'm no superstar. I'm also learning as and when time goes, but few tips for the interviews I could give are, or some hope, or some tips I can give to fellow aspirants would be that you need to be prepared. you'll be given some set of questions directly or indirectly. Directly would be directly from the college, or indirectly people who have gone through this interview, be it me or be it anybody like any other student. And I think so even UniVoyage can help you help as a as a community or a company as well. And you need to ask what type of questions they would be. So once you have a list of questions or probable questions, you need to work around how you want to answer them. And it's going to take some time. It's not that easy, but at the same time, again, not difficult. You have to spend a day or two, formulate some really good answers, go back and forth with your friends, your family, your parents. Parents are actually a great source of feedback as well, and other fellow students. It's always good to talk with them, say this is what's going in your head, how do you think this will work, would this work, are you framing it the way it ideally should be, or the best way you can frame it. These are all things which can be iterated over time, and it's always good for further iterations. And tips for the day on the day of the interview, or be it video based assessment or just the interview, you need to keep a calm composure. Even if you're not prepared or less prepared, it doesn't matter. You go there as confident as you can. Realize that you've gone through a lot of struggles, you've done a lot of hard work to reach to a position, and there shouldn't be anything which should stop you. And show confidence at the same time. Try to communicate with the interviewee. If it's a physical one, try to make it as formal, but at the same time you need to show you have to reciprocate between like you have to reciprocate between each other. There should be a decent amount of communication with, and try to portray yourself the best yourself. It's important that you show what you're good at, uh, how you want to develop as well as a person. So it's not only how good you are, but how you want to become better as well. And I guess most of the answers are question dependent, which aren't really hard to formulate. You need to formulate, get your points there, and then try to throw them out naturally as possible. So these are a few quite generic tips for interview, but those things do really work for any format of an interview, irrespective of which college.
All right. So one thing that I've seen common across all the interviews that we've conducted here at UniVoyage is that people emphasize on the fact that you need to work as hard as you can, need to practice as much as you can. So that's why again at UniVoyage, if you can see that we're putting tests daily, we are putting mock tests, we are putting quizzes, and everything that we can in order to help you guys. Yeah, so moving on to the final question of the day, that there are only a few months remaining for the IPMAT 2021 exam. So what would be that one particular tip for the aspirants who are watching this that, will help them sail through this journey of preparation?
So it's a very I want to sum up most of the things I have said, and I wish the future aspirants the very best luck. But the final tip, or I won't say it's a tip. There are a few tips. So I think so. Practice is the key. Hard work is going to take you anywhere and everywhere. So I think so. UniVoyage is a very good initiative. These guys are very resourceful. I mean, they have contacts all over the IIMs. So these guys have a lot of tons of resources and they're reliable. So all the mock tests, all the practice tests, past year tests, all these quizzes, or all these things can be actually beneficial, because those 2 months you give for a preparation for any exam, be it like for IPMAT, it's valuable. Make most of it. Hard work is obviously going to help you, as well as communication. You need to talk your problems, or talk whether you're working towards the right direction. And that's I think so. The final note is, you guys can. It's not impossible. It's in fact easy if you actually take as much support you can, and actually if you plan your stuff out. And that's about it. And I wish the very best luck for the other future aspirants.
All right. Thank you so much, Aditya, for agreeing to do this. And you guys must have seen that that thing, the way we're plugging in UniVoyage is an initiative by the IPM 2020 batch. So, we students felt like there should be a marketplace where IPM should not be considered as a generic BBA or a generic management undergrad education. So there weren't like many courses, many coaching classes offering specific information and resources regarding the IPM program, and that is why we've formed UniVoyage. So you guys, I mean, whoever is watching this, I'd really request you guys to please, hit the subscribe button, as well as like and share this video with as many aspirants as you can. And we'll be getting more such interviews of all the toppers from as many universities as we can. You can drop down your suggestions in the comments as well. So thank you so much, Aditya, for doing this.
It was an honor. It was a pleasure to help you guys, and I do wish to be connected in the future and try to help as much I can to UniVoyage and other fellow students who are in this journey, because IPM is a very, very good program. I mean, it's not like an ordinary commerce curriculum, from what I've understood from many of my friends, and it's something I found very interesting. Being even a science student, I found this interesting, and I gave it a shot. For which I started again. I think so. This is a little digressing, but even I suggest science students to give it a shot, because if you find this program interesting, you should always go through it, go through the curriculum and see if fits you, because it has a really good combination of stuff which will help you in the future if you want to go towards management, or you want to go towards something towards that field of study, or towards that field of occupation. So uh, I'm really thankful that UniVoyage called me over for this beautiful interview, and I wish them the very well best.
All right. Thank you so much, Aditya, for joining in. And thank you, everyone who've tuned in. So please, guys, make sure that you like and share this video as much as possible.